Albert Breer of the Monday Morning Quarterback does believe there's a chance the Bears can't get a deal done with Roquan Smith. Let's talk about that starting now. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago Bears daily on this channel. It's the only channel talks Chicago Bears, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. So Albert Breer went on television yesterday and went on the Cap and J Hood show today and essentially talked about how he feels like there's an opportunity where the Chicago Bears might not look at Roquan Smith as a long-term answer at that main linebacker spot and might feel like he's not the kind of linebacker that fits a Matt Eberflus type of defense. And his case in point was kind of looking at the linebackers from that Colts team and looking at their makeup. They were big, athletic, long-armed guys, right? That just had a different makeup from Roquan. Not to say that Roquan Smith is bad, but maybe just not the kind of guy that Matt Eberflus is looking for at that position. And it's interesting. It's an interesting take on it, right? Not to say that I think Albert Breer's wrong. I mean, he absolutely could be right in this situation, right? But the thing that to me that I have to look into is where the Bears are. And Albert kind of talked about this where he said like they're in between a rock and a hard place with their linebacker depth at this point. So like there's not a lot of guys. I mean, you're talking about Roquan, Nick Morrow, and pretty much that's it. You've got some guys fighting it out for that Sam spot. But I mean, outside of that, right, like when you're looking at what this team is going to be defensively, I feel like Roquan Smith is a piece that has to get done. I feel like this is a move that you have to make. And if you feel like, right, like I get it if you feel like there's this option coming up the pipeline or there's something that's going to get done, but you're talking about paying a star linebacker, don't get me wrong, a star linebacker. Listen to me when I'm saying this, right? Like Bobby Wagner, Fred Warner level guys, right? But close. Right, it's not that far apart, and when you look at the numbers, you can make an argument for why Roquan deserves the money he deserves. Right, you are talking about paying him probably $100 million over 5. Fine, yeah, I mean like that's kind of where it is, right? Like you don't let these transcendent level players get out of your building. You don't have many of them, and by the way, you have one of the best in the league on that side. When you look at guys on this football team, right, you don't have one of the best in the league. You don't have one of the top 10 in the league at most positions on this team. Let's not start going backwards here. And I'm not saying that Albert is basically saying that the Bears are done on Roquan. I think he was just talking about, right, the chances of them getting a deal done and kind of the position that the Bears are in here, where you're talking about possibly a long-term deal. Is that going to be acquiesced this season? Which I don't know if that's going to get done before training camp. I don't know if you get a deal done that appeases Roquan before training camp is over. I don't know if you get a deal done that appeases Roquan before the season gets here. But I mean, that's on Ryan Poles to get the job done in some way, shape, or form, right? But for the opportunity that you don't want, it's tough to say, but I can't say I don't see it. The opportunity or the possibility, I should say, opportunity is the wrong word. The possibility, I should say, that you could move on from a guy like Roquan Smith because you don't believe that he fits your style of linebacker, I think is asinine. It's absurd because whether he fits your style or not, at a certain point, like, listen, I get that there's some players that have to fit in, but there's some players that are good enough that you fit too. And I think Roquan Smith is that level of player. If you want to go out and draft your guy, if you want to go out and find your guy, that's fine. Yeah, go out and get that guy, right? But the thought process there that this guy doesn't fit our mindset or this guy doesn't fit what we want to do, so we have to move on when he's one of the most talented guys on your, arguably the most talented, maybe Robert Quinn, but arguably the most talented guy on your team, is mind-boggling to me. But I can't say I don't see that being a possibility because guess what? These are some of the things that could be an issue with Tevin Jenkins being on this team, and we now know that the Bears are possibly trying to move him. Now, before I continue with the video, I do want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think the Bears will get a contract done with Roquan Smith, or do you feel like kind of Albert Breer does that, hey, these guys kind of don't, Roquan doesn't fit the kind of linebackers that Matt Eberflus has had before, so you might see a move on from him. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well, and hit that like button for me. So here's what it comes down to, right, for me. If you're going to be a better team, you need talent. Roquan is talent. Roquan is a player that gets the job done consistently. Roquan is a double-digit tackles guy. I understand he's not a big sacks guy. I understand that he's not a guy that gets in the backfield a ton, but you also have to look at the fact that the guys that were on his team did not need him to get in the backfield a ton. You weren't blitzing Roquan Smith a ton, right? And if that's the numbers that you're looking at, to me, you're not looking at what this defense was. I don't think that that's where the Bears are. But if I'm looking at this team, right, like, you had Khalil Mack, you had Travis Gibson, you had Robert Quinn. Why would I send Roquan Smith in the backfield when I can keep him in coverage? And so for me, right, and I know like there's a thought process with a lot of those guys that if you're not getting those sacks, then yeah, you're a good linebacker. You can be out in coverage and you could be one of the best guys in coverage, but how are you affecting the game? I don't feel that way when it comes to Roquan Smith. I feel like you're not going to find a better coverage guy out there. You would essentially be saying we're trying to bottom out this season and just hope that Justin doesn't get killed. You know, because you're going to keep him on the field more times than not, because I think if you take the captain off of that defense, the main guy in the middle off of that defense, that's a huge change. I don't think Nick Morrow's ready to be the guy calling calls on this defense, right? And so for me, you got to get this deal done with Roquan. It's not even a you got to get this deal done because he's a good guy deal. No, this is you got to get this deal done because I don't think that there's a better option. I don't think you're going to find a better option for years to come. Roquan Smith is a top 7 linebacker in the NFL. So to me, this is a get the deal done or get off the pot, like at this point. But like I said, man, I want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. As always, man, it's your boy Pat the Designer, back at it again to continue watching our Chicago Bears content. Click the links on the screen and check the links in the description below. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Peace.